I'm asking that the engineers please remember who they're talking to now, and we demand to have better information and better communication, or you're not going to get your project approved. I want more information, and if I don't understand it, I can't sell it to my public. My name's Carol Whitmore. I'm currently Manatee County Commissioner since 2006. I started my political career in 1991 on Anna Maria Island as Holmes Beach City Commissioner, and then 98 to 2006 Mayor of Holmes Beach. Cortez Bridge has been a very hot topic for anybody that's familiar with it. When you go and look at the Cortez Bridge, you will see that there's not enough ingress and egress to get off and on the bridge. The state decided it was time to replace it, and if you do that, you're going to destroy the historical fishing village of Cortez, which is over 100 years old, and you won't have enough to go down. You'll be right into the Gulf of Mexico, and you will be destroying homes there.
Well, Cortez Bridge was built in 1956. That makes it 56 years old. It's in a coastal saltwater environment. The bridge is currently structurally deficient. That means the department must either rehab or replace within 6 years. We do have a rehab project coming up in a couple years which will address the main deficiencies. The deficiencies are caused really by the saltwater environment that it's over time. The chlorides of the salt water seep through the concrete very slowly, but over time they reach the reinforcement steel and cause the deterioration. And even though repairs are made at a certain point, it's difficult to maintain it at the level that it needs to be. I am the district structures maintenance engineer. My office, my responsibility is to inspect and maintain and operate the bridges of the district. These bridges are inspected every 2 years. A drawbridge is inspected every year, looking at the mechanical, electrical portion every year. The full bridge is inspected every 2 years. From the inspection reports, we develop maintenance plans. Work orders are issued to address any items found in during the inspection that need to be repaired. We also oversee the operation of the bridge tenders. We ensure that the bridge is operated in accordance with the Coast Guard requirements.
My background with the Cortez Bridge started shortly after I became a county commissioner in 1990. DOT at the time, Florida Department of Transportation, was really not interested in getting people's viewpoints ahead of time. The communication from DOT was probably the poorest of any bridge project that we did, and we learned a lot of lessons. And it was lessons that we learned from that as an MPO member that shares responsibility for Sarasota, Manatee County, we applied to the Ringland Bridge and advanced our communication with the public, had different dialogues, and made sure they were part of the process, not just throwing the process at them. One of the unfortunate things with the Cortez Bridge is that they were showing like a camel's hump for this bridge going in. And it was disturbing the community because they thought they would be able to go up this bridge and then speed down the bridge, and you'd have semis, flying into the Gulf of Mexico. And when you look at it, perception is reality. I asked the question, what is driving this look of the bridge? And what they basically told me was that due to the engineering drawings, if you just showed it on a 1-to-1 scale, it would look like a flat line. So they enhance it by doing like a 1-to-100 scale. So what that means is you have it exaggerated 100-time fold up in the air, and when people saw this on TV, as the news stations covered it, as the newspapers reprinted this hump of a bridge, it supported the fears that people had, the perception associated with this new bridge. And so it was just really a comedy of errors on communication from mainly DOT.
My name is Katie Parola, and I lived in Northwest Bradenton at the time, but I lived on the island for 30 years. And I was involved very much in the beginning of beach restoration and renourishment in 1985. And I became the mayor of the city in 1989, which is 4 years later, and I served for 6 years. SAM, the Save Anna Maria people, didn't form till about 1994, and the reason they did was because the people of Anna Maria City and Holmes Beach saw what was going over here in Bradenton Beach with the Cortez Bridge, and they too got leery of the DOT and how they were handling all of this stuff. They had a lawsuit against DOT on the way they handled the Anna Maria Bridge, okay? And it came down to having an administrative judge come to Manatee County and study all of this, and they agreed with the group.
My name is Linda Molto, and I moved to Cortez in 1983. I was so surprised when I first came here because I didn't know a place like this still existed, that it is an intact commercial fishing village from the 1800s. This was not presented as a possible bridge. This was presented to us as the bridge you're going to get. In fact, we wouldn't have even known about it. They were having a meeting, and I don't even think it was published, but somebody in Cortez, Harry Howie, who used to be the president of our historical society, he got wind of it and got another man to go with him, and they went down there, and they came back and told us about it. We just did so much that they never stopped hearing from us. I remember going to the very last MPO meeting. We didn't know what was going to happen. We figured, okay, they're going to go through with this. Either they're going to lower the bridge to a 45-foot high bridge, or go ahead with the 65, 72-foot high bridge. Jim Kissick says it's 72 feet high, actually. Nobody said a word. We walked out of the meeting, and this was after months and months and months of the fight. The MPO voted to not build the bridge.
I would like to talk a little bit about Jim Kissick, because I know him very well. He used to be a commissioner here for the city, and the man has worked tirelessly. He's a pilot. He's flown over the bay many, many times to figure out where another bridge would fit.
I got involved with SAM, Save Anna Maria Incorporated, after they were formed, because I was an elected official at the time. And incidentally, I am a 5th generation local. I've been my great-grandfather founded Manatee County in 1855. If I had a crystal ball, I would look into what FDOT, I know what their intent is, and that is not to listen to us, but to make us think they're listening to us. We've had many, many meetings at the Catholic Church up in, is that Holmes Beach? Yeah. And it always ends up in, one time up there we had one individual speaking from the audience, speaking for high bridges, and 13 speaking for non-high bridges. But they, nothing changes.
When they wanted to replace it the first time, I believe it was mostly the communication between the citizens and DOT. The original, the public hearings weren't that good at all. It was very few, not much explanation, you know, and that is why the Islanders got the way they did, okay? I would have to say the engineers, I don't think they really came out to get involved with the citizens. All they did was have the public hearings. And I guess in their mind, that's good enough. I don't think they dealt with the citizens, you know. They deal mostly with the MPO and the officials. And then the officials, what can they do?
You know, the first step should be reach out to the community, have an informal meeting, no lines, no agenda, just saying we're here to listen. We have this project we're told that we need to go forward with, but our first step is to listen to you, the community. What do you think? And if you don't really like this fixed bridge, but you're going to get stuck with it anyhow, what would you like to see so it doesn't mess up your community? And reach out and touch the real human beings, because just sending out emails or having something on a website isn't the same as walking it with people and just really truly understanding their needs. And this way, when you do draw something that might be objectionable, at least they know, hey, they came out here and listened to us first. They are caring. You know, it's just one of those things we may not have an option to get 100% of what we want.
As many young engineers come up in governmental agencies, they are not gonna just say, yes, thank you very much, we agree with you, we'll give you millions of dollars to do this project. They are going to demand answers, and they're going to demand answers that they can understand. I am not going to vote for something that I don't understand as a governmental individual, and I'm not going to pay you millions or any state agency millions of dollars or pay for your professional fees unless I understand what you're doing, because I need to communicate it to my public. And I think that's the trend you're going to see in the country today. Things are changing, and citizens demand more answers that they can understand. So I'm pleading that the powers that be in the future, that the young engineers and governmental agencies that give service to government will make it understandable so that we can make informed decisions.
And they have certain guidelines that they want to do. They think they're always right about everything. They have this attitude, I guess, because they are DOT. It's an awesome job what they do. I'm not disrespectful of the Florida Department of Transportation, because I know how difficult it must be to keep all these roads safe.
You got to remember that doing these type of projects in a growth state, it's a learning environment, and I don't think it's fair to blame an engineer or DOT or the elected officials or even the community. But over the years, I believe we have a better process, and we've grown through the experiences of the past.
We were informed after the fact, and that's just not acceptable anymore. We did get apologies from the Florida Department of Transportation regarding this issue, and they said that they would keep us in the loop from now on, and they are doing better. Things are evolving now, so you're seeing a lot different perspective than ever was before. But I went to those meetings, they were pre-planned, all the drawings were there, and it was like they just thought that I was an idiot, that I didn't understand what I was doing. And they would smile respectfully and say, you know, welcome, Commissioner, and here's what we have. These are the two options, no input. We would be able to write down what we wanted, and that was it. I never saw, you know, nothing changed from the input. Hopefully nowadays, now it's going to change differently. And that Cortez Bridge was a very big learning curve for me, and you know, for a lot of us. And it was a disappointment too. So hopefully that'll change.